Hello guys, in this video I will show you my main Speedcubes that I'm using in official competitions, and also I'll discuss about my official personal records. So let's start. At 3x3 OH and blindfolded I'm using the RS3 and V5 because I feel that this cube offers the greatest balance between speed and controllability, and they really turn it very well in competitions. Alright, so let's do some turns on it. As you can see, it is really fast, and in the same time it is very controllable. I barely got any lockups on it, and I really appreciate this aspect on this cube. I really find it a really good choice also for OH because it is very fast and I can easily turn the layers only by using one hand, and the magnet strength is just perfect for OH solving. Let's do some turns. And as you can see, I can easily turn the layers without getting any lockups. Regarding the setup that I'm using for this cube, initially when I got this cube out of the box, I just loosened up the screw so it can easily cut at 45 degrees, actually more than 45 degrees. And besides of this, in order to make it a little bit more controllable, I set the compression level to the third level. So this means that initially I set up all the compression tools, let's say those compression rings, on 0, and then I did 3 clicks, and that's the compression level that I'm using. In terms of lubes, I use Traxxas 30K on the tracks of the pieces, and I added some silk directly on the pieces of the cube. Talking about its performance in competition, it is incredible, at least for me, because all of my PRs at 3x3 single and average, OH single and average, and blindfolded single and average, I got them using this cube. So using this cube in official competitions, I got an 8.19 average with a 6.40 single at 3x3. At OH I got a 12.42 average, which was very unexpected from me because I usually average around 13 to 14 seconds at home, with a 9.89 single, which was also really amazing for me. And at blindfolded I got a 2.39 mean with a 2.04 single. At 2x2 I'm using the GAN 251M Pro. It is a little bit uncontrollable for me. It is very fast, but I managed to do some really nice solves on it during competitions. Let's do some turns on it. As you can see, it is really fast, but this is what I'm looking for at 2x2, because after finishing the first layer, then I'm trying to find the best algorithm for the second layer and try to apply it as fast as I can in order to get a better time. Another important aspect that I really consider it is worth to mention is that usually at 2x2 in competitions, I do not have any nerves. I just want to solve and try to give the best, and I don't care that much about 2x2, so because I don't have nerves, my hands are not shaking and I can easily turn the cube fast. And because it is a really fast cube, it is a good match between my solving style and this cube. And I really recommend it if you want to use a fast 2x2. Talking about the downsides of this cube, well, it's a little bit uncontrollable, and because of that it happens to me to get some lockups on it, especially when turning really fast during competitions. What I've noticed, especially at the end of my solves, when my TPS is a little bit higher, it happens to me to misalign the layers and get some +2s. It happened to me at a competition a few months ago when I got a 1.07 single, and at the end of the solve, when I did a U, I thought that I did a U, but the cube remained like this because I did the U, but maybe I didn't apply too much force, or layers were misaligned and the cube remained like this, and yep, I got a +2. And the solve in the end was a 3.07 instead of 1.07, and it could have been a PR average without that +2. It could have been a 2.29 average, but yeah, it wasn't, and I accepted it. Best official results that I got using this cube were a 2.69 average and a 1.87 single. My PRs were not set using this puzzle. I've broken my PRs, I think, 6 years ago using a Valk 2, and using that puzzle I got a 2.52 average and a 0.88 single. Right now the Valk 2 is not the best 2x2 anymore. I really recommend this one or the Tengyung V2 from Dian. It is also really good 2x2. At 4x4 I'm using the Yaosu V7. It is one of the best 4x4s that I've ever tried, and I really recommend getting this one. This is the double track version. It offers the best balance between magnet strength, controllability, and speed, and yeah, I really like this one. It is fast, but not that fast, and it is very controllable, and I really enjoy this fact, and it helps me a lot because at 4x4 usually in competitions I get a lot of nerves and my hands are shaking. The best choice for me is a controllable cube. It fits my turning style really well. Besides this, I enjoy the fact that it is a little bit smaller because it is easier for me to find the pieces while speed solving this puzzle. My official PRs at 4x4 are 29.45 at average, and I set that record using this puzzle, the Aosu V7, and the single is 25.76, but I've broken it using the MGC 4x4. The best single that I got using the Aosu V7 in a competition was a 26 point something. At 5x5 I'm using the X-Man Hong. It is a little bit slower than the GAN 5x5 or comparing to the Moyu 5x5, but I like this aspect because in competitions I can turn it more precisely and I barely get any lockups on it. Let's do some turns on it, let's do some T-perms. As you can see, it is very controllable. I didn't get any lockups on it, and it is a really good 5x5. Currently I'm trying to switch to the GAN 5x5, but it is very fast. I tried to make it slower. I tighten up the screws. I put a lot of silicone lube in the GAN 5x5, but it is still very fast, and I don't know how I can actually slow it down. So until I will get used to that GAN 5x5, I will still use the Hong, especially in competitions. All of my official PRs were set using the Hong. I got an 78.01 average at 5x5 with a 51.94 single. At 6x6 I'm using the Aoshi WRM. It is very fast, it is considerably faster than all of the other B-cubes that I'm using as my mains, but in the same time it is controllable, and I really like this model. It happens to me from time to time in competitions to get some lockups on this puzzle because it is really fast, but I've never got any pops, and I really enjoy this aspect. The only thing that annoys me at the Aoshi WRM is that from time to time the caps of the centers are falling without me doing anything to them. But I've discussed with some other speedcubers that are using the Aoshi WRM, and they told me that this never happened to them, so maybe it's just a manufacturing problem with my Aoshi WRM. All of my official PRs at 6x6 were set using this puzzle. I got a 1.51 min with this Aoshi WRM and a 1.38 single, which are some really good results for me at 6x6, considering that at home I usually average around 155, let's say. At 7x7 I'm using the Aofu WRM. It is a really nice cube. It is way slower and more controllable than the Aoshi, and I really enjoy this fact. And besides this, I barely got any lockups or pops on it, and I really like this aspect. Also, it is worth to mention that I didn't get that problem with the caps falling at the 7x7 as it happened to the 6x6. Okay, so let's do some turns on it. As you can see, it is not that fast, it is very controllable, and I turn it really precisely, and I really enjoy this aspect. I have tried the Aofu V5 at my last competition, but it's way smaller than the Aofu WRM, and it didn't fit my hand and my turning style, and I really don't like it that much. So I guess for now I will still use the Aofu WRM from Moyo. I set all of my official PRs using the Aofu WRM. I have a 2.49 min at 7x7 and a 2.36 single. So at Megamix, right now I've just switched my main and now I'm using the GAN Megamix. Before this one I used the Dian Megamix, I think the first version, and I really liked it. But then I've tried this one and it was way better than the Dian V1 Megamix. Initially I didn't like this puzzle that much, the GAN Megamix, because it was very fast, very uncontrollable, and I barely got any good times on it. But after setting it up, it was way better than the Dian, and I got some really nice souls both at home and in competition. In order to set up the GAN Megamix, I only added some Traxxas 30K silicone lube both on the tracks of the pieces and directly on the pieces, like 3 or 4 drops. and then I set the compression level to the 5th level and the center travel level to the 2nd level. The corner cutting is not that excellent, but the layers align very well, and I barely get any lockups on the Megamings. The best results that I got in a competition using the gun Megamings was a 101 average, and I got a lot of sub 1 singles from 55 to 59 seconds. My official PRs were set with the Dian Megamings. I have a 101 average with a 52 single. At Cube, I'm using the Guns Cube, the enhanced version. It is very nice, I turn it really well in competitions, and it is very fast and controllable at the same time. It happens to me from time to time to get some lockups in competitions, especially when my hands are shaking, but if I manage to control my nerves, I really turn the puzzle really well, and I got a lot of good results using the Guns Cube in competitions. I managed to break all of my PRs at Cube using this model. I got a 4.93 average with a 1.79 single, but the 1.79 single was cancelled, and maybe I will discuss about it in a separate video. And now I still have my previous single, which is a 2.43. That's 2.43, I managed to set it using the Aoyan Cube from Moyu. At Square One, I'm using the MGC Square One. Honestly, I don't like this Square One that much, but I guess it's one of the best Square Ones that I've tried comparing to the other versions from Qi or from other companies. I can't say that it's very fast, but it is very uncontrollable, and it happened to me several times in competitions to mess up my souls because it was way uncontrollable. When I'm trying to turn it faster, the layers misalign, and it happened to me in official competitions, as I mentioned before, to mess up the PLL parity, because I messed up during the middle of the algorithm and I couldn't recover, and I had to solve the puzzle again. And I assure you won't gonna like it if it happens to you during an official competition. I still remember that 3 years ago I've been to a competition in Greece, in Thessaloniki, and I averaged around 20 seconds at Square One at that time, and with that average I could have got the 2nd place or the 3rd place, but during the first 2 solves I got PLL parity at both of the solves, and during the middle of the PLL parity the layers misaligned and I messed up the algorithm, and I got a 1-minute solve and a 47-second solve, and the cutoff was 45. So yeah, I think that I got the last place or close to the last place. On the other hand, if I'm trying to turn more precisely and try to slow down a little bit my turning style, the cube works just fine. I set all of my official PRs with the MGC Square One. I have a 15 average with a 9.65 single, which are some really great results for me. At Pyramings, I use the Yuxin Little Magic Pyramings. It is really good considering its cheap price. It is fast, slightly uncontrollable, but I managed to turn it really well in competitions. Let's do some turns. As you can see, it is really fast, but I didn't get any lockups, and it rarely happens to me to get any lockups during official competitions. In official competitions, I got some 3 seconds average using this puzzle and some 2-second singles, but my official PRs were set using the X-Men Bell version 1 Pyramings. I have a 3.39 average and a 2.04 single. At clock, I'm using the Qi clock. It's kinda old, this one is from 2021, and it uses the old magnetic scheme, but it's pretty good. It's a little fast, and it happens to me to mess up my solves from time to time if I'm not careful enough when solving it. I put some silicone lube inside the clock, and now it became slower and I can control it a little bit better. I don't like to practice clock that much, so I'm pretty happy with this puzzle. All of my official PRs were set on this clock. I have an 8 seconds average with a 6.80 single. To set up my puzzles, I used the Traxxas 30K as a silicone lube, but I've recently changed it and now I'm using the Wave 5 silicone lube, and I also use the Silk and the Mystic lubes. They make the puzzles more controllable and gummier, and this is the feeling that I want to get in my puzzle, especially when using them in competitions. I will make a separate video in the future to show you exactly how I set up my Rubik's Cubes. The timer that I'm currently using right now is the GAN version 1 timer. Before this one I used the G4 from StackMat, but it somehow got broken. I had it for 6 years or something like this. I had to change my timer and I received this one as a gift, and it is really nice. It also has Bluetooth, and you can easily connect this timer to CS timer without using any wires, and it is really nice. Another interesting functionality, and also very useful that this timer has is that it stores your last 5 souls and it can compute your average of 5 and displays it here on this little display. I also want to admit that I really like that blue light that is coming from inside the timer before starting your solve. It's quite nice. Well guys, this was the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you have any questions, I will write them in the comment section. Thank you and bye bye!